right, so you wanted the full story behind this JB Mpiana hit, Feux Del Amo'ur.
Yes.
And we are ready to go deep for you on this one. We got lyrics, we got background on the artist, we even get some analysis from a fan channel to help us unpack all this. So
I love it.
Let's dive in.
Yeah. All right, let's dive in. We're looking at Feux Del Amo'ur today.
Okay.
This one's a Congolese Rhumba classic from '98 by JB Mpiana and Wenj Musica BCBG.
Right.
You sent this one in, and judging from the Daateku channel video you included, it's interesting that this song was specifically requested. It was released back in 1997.
Wow.
Feux Del Amo'ur was just a massive hit in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and it remains popular even today.
Yeah, there's something about it that really captures people, and you don't even need to understand the language to feel that. And it's Ndombolo/Soukous.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of Soukous, that fast danceable music with roots in Cuban rumba.
It's actually fascinating how Soukous evolved in Congo. It incorporated local rhythms and instrumentation, creating this unique blend of African and Latin sounds.
Nice.
You'll hear it in the driving guitars and complex polyrhythms. I get the feeling the lyrics run deeper than just a love song.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing how it uses love to talk about, well, everything from, like personal heartache to bigger issues. Really shows how powerful music can be,
Yeah, for sure.
So we know it's a great dance track, but the lyrics are where things get really interesting.
Definitely.
I mean, it's a love song, kind of.
Starts off strong. Love is a bad disease. Its symptom is sadness.
And he compares his love for Amita to his faith in Jesus, saying both are like a medicine. So is he saying love's spiritual, or that faith can be as tough as love?
Ooh, that's a good question. Could be both, honestly. Congolese rumba often mixes those two, the spiritual and the everyday. So comparing love and faith like that, maybe he's getting at how intense and challenging both can be. Like, they both demand you give yourself over, and there's a price to pay. I see what you mean. He's definitely wrestling with both sides of love, the good and the bad.
But more like a social commentary on love and relationships set to these irresistible beats.
Precisely.
Okay, good.
You picked up on that right away.
Yeah.
It's a really clever way to address societal issues without being overtly political. And knowing a bit about JB Mpiana himself adds another layer here.
Yeah, our source is a YouTube channel called Daateku channel.
Oh, cool.
And they're completely dedicated to dissecting Congolese music, which I love.
Love it.
He gave us some great insights into Mpiana's background.
Yeah, his story is pretty remarkable.
Okay.
Starting out in Wenj Musica, already a popular band.
Okay.
Then forming his own group, Wenj BCBG.
Yeah.
It caused a huge rift in the Congolese music scene, almost like a musical civil war.
Fans had to choose sides.
Yeah.
Talk about drama.
Good times.
So knowing that context and knowing that his full name is Jean Bedel Mpiana Wachituka.
I love that.
Which just sounds legendary.
It does.
How does that shape our understanding of Feux Del Amo'ur?
Well, it tells us Mpiana isn't afraid to shake things up.
Okay.
He challenges norms, both musically and lyrically, and that's immediately evident when the song opens with the line, "Love is a bad disease."
It grabs your attention.
Not your typical love song opener, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But then he follows that with, "Its medicine is the presence of the one you love."
Right.
So it's almost like love is both the problem and the solution. There's a really desperate tone to it, wouldn't you say?
Yes. It's like he's wrestling with these intense emotions, trying to make sense of love's power, and then he broadens the perspective by bringing in others' experiences.
Okay.
He says, "Ask those who are disappointed in love, widowed, divorced, they will give you their testimonies."
It's like he's saying, hey, this isn't just my story, this is a universal struggle.
Yeah.
And that's where we start to see the social commentary come in, right?
Exactly. He paints a vivid picture of the challenges people face in a society marked by poverty and inequality.
Yeah.
He talks about being judged for living in Maleka, which is a slum area,
Right.
for not having a degree, for coming from an unknown family.
He even says, poor us who live in Maleka, the area is too far, has too many mosquitoes. Even taxis do not go in that place.
Yeah.
It's funny, but also heartbreaking because it highlights how these very real social barriers impact even something as personal as finding love.
It's a brilliant example of how he weaves humor and social commentary together.
Yeah.
That line about wanting to be born into Adam Bomboy's family just to have a nice breakfast every morning. It's so relatable, right?
I know, right?
It gets a laugh, but it also reveals a deeper yearning for a better life.
And who hasn't felt that way at some point?
Right.
Wanting to escape the circumstances you were born into? It's powerful stuff disguised as a catchy Rhumba song.
It is.
Yeah.
It's that ability to connect with people
Right.
on multiple levels. That makes Feux Del Amo'ur so compelling.
Okay.
You can enjoy it as a catchy tune, but there's also this deeper social commentary happening beneath the surface.
And he doesn't shy away from addressing sensitive topics either.
No, he doesn't.
Like when he talks about people asking, where do you study? And he responds, poor us who abandoned school long ago. We'd rather lie that we are bachelor's degree graduates or certified doctor or certified engineer so that they consider us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny,
Yeah.
but it also speaks to the pressure to conform,
Absolutely.
to meet certain societal expectations,
Yeah.
even in the realm of love and relationships.
He's exposing this societal pressure to achieve a certain level of education and status, even if it means pretending.
Yeah.
And for listeners in Kinshasa,
Yeah.
especially those who've experienced similar judgments,
Right.
it must resonate deeply.
Makes you wonder about the weight of those expectations
Yeah.
and how they shape people's sense of self-worth.
Powerful message. And it's delivered in such a clever and engaging way. You're tapping your feet to the rhythm, but you're also forced to confront these uncomfortable truths about class and social mobility in Kinshasa.
Like he's saying, let's dance and think critically about society at the same time.
Exactly. And that brings us to the section where he talks about family background.
Okay.
This is where it gets really poignant. He talks about being from an unknown family
Huh?
and the fear of not being loved because of it.
Okay.
It's a raw and vulnerable expression of insecurity.
There's this sense of desperation when he pleads, God, please create the world all over again and ask everybody one by one who would like to be born in a poor family, not me. I would prefer to be born in the family of Adam Bombal where they have nice breakfast every morning.
It's such a striking line.
Right.
On the surface, it's humorous, even lighthearted. But beneath that humor lies a deep longing for a different life, free from the constraints of poverty.
It really highlights the powerlessness that you feel.
You have to write about inequality, right?
It is, yeah. And to really get it, we got to think about Kinshasa in the late 90s. Lots of change happening then, socially, economically. The country was moving away from a one-party system, and Kinshasa, being the capital, was getting more and more urban really fast.
So these inequalities were right in everyone's face.
Exactly, yeah. And Mpiana is using his voice to speak for a lot of people, probably, highlighting how frustrating it was for those stuck in their situation, you know? People wanting better, but hitting these systemic walls.
He doesn't sugarcoat it either. Like when he sings, your love is rejected if you live in a poor neighborhood. Oof.
Right.
It's tying those social problems straight to love, which is kind of heartbreaking.
It is, yeah. He's saying love doesn't just exist on its own. It's shaped by things outside of us, these social structures that decide who's worthy of love. And here, he's saying money and status, they play a huge role in people's love lives.
So he's singing about love, but also shining a light on these big societal issues.
Absolutely. That's what makes the song so interesting. It's not just a personal love story. It's a commentary on Kinshasa itself, on what people hoped for and struggled with. It's about that push and pull between what you want and what society pressures you with.
It's like he's using his own heartbreak to explore these larger issues.
Yeah, I think you're right. And by weaving those personal and social threads together, he creates a song that speaks on multiple levels, you know? It gets at that individual feeling of love and loss, but it also makes you think about those societal forces that shape our lives.
Powerful stuff. He's not just singing about his own pain. He's giving voice to a whole community's experiences.
Exactly. That's what makes a truly impactful artist, you know? Taking those personal things and turning them into art that speaks to everyone while still reflecting their own specific time and place. In the face of these societal structures, it's almost as if he's saying, look, I know this isn't fair, but what can I do?
It's a powerful statement about the limitations imposed by circumstances of birth and the yearning for something beyond those limitations.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched upon the ending where he compares love to wine.
Oh, yeah.
Which takes the song in a completely different direction. It's almost philosophical, wouldn't you say?
What's fascinating about that comparison is how it elevates the song.
Okay.
Beyond a specific social context.
Right.
He's talking about the intoxicating, sometimes destructive nature nature of love itself.
He says, love you are like wine, you intoxicate me. And when it's like that, it's hard to take a step back. I'm going, it's a beautiful image.
It is.
But also a little bit ominous. Like, he's caught in love's grip and can't escape.
And then he follows that with, love, you are mysterious. You killed so many people. I cannot list all of them, and I can't handle it because of pain. I would cry and lose sleep. It's a dark turn, almost a warning of the potential dangers of love.
It's like he's acknowledging that love can be a force for both good and evil. It can uplift and inspire, but it can also lead to heartbreak, pain, even destruction.
It's a reminder that love is a complex emotion with the power to shape destinies, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Makes me wonder, is this social commentary typical of Congolese Rhumba? I'm not super familiar with the genre.
That's a good question. It's kind of yes and no. Congolese Rhumba has always been about more than just dancing, you know? It's got this history of engaging with social and political stuff.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Well, think back to the 60s and 70s. Rhumba musicians would often use their music to, subtly criticize the Mobutu regime. You know, they were in power for a long time, over 30 years.
So there's a precedent for this kind of social commentary within the genre.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But what's different about Feux Del Amo'ur is how direct Mpiana is. He's not hiding behind metaphors or anything. He's straight up calling out inequality. Pretty bold, especially given the political climate back then.
Wow, so he's carrying on this tradition, but also pushing the boundaries a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes Feux Del Amo'ur so compelling. It's this powerful love song, but it's also this sharp social critique. Reminds us that music can be a force for change, a way to amplify voices that might not be heard otherwise.
It really makes you think about the power of music to go beyond just entertainment and speak to these deeper truths.
Absolutely. That's what makes exploring a song like this so rewarding. It's not just about the melody or the rhythm, it's about digging into all those layers of meaning, the social and historical context, what the artist wanted to say, and ultimately what it tells us about being human.
I'm really glad we're doing this together. I'm already learning so much, and it's making me appreciate the song in a whole new way.
Me too. It reminds us that even a love song can have these incredible depths. And by unpacking those layers, we can understand not just the music, but the world it reflects.
Speaking of layers, after all that social commentary, Mpiana kind of shifts gears. He starts reflecting on his own love life. He even jokes a little when he sings about loving white and black people thin and thick, and wondering if he deserves a medal for it. Haha.
Yeah. That part always gets me. I think it shows he knows how complicated love is. Do you think he's looking for validation? Or is it more like a self-deprecating joke? Like, is he saying loving different people is some big achievement?
Interesting. I'm leaning towards the self-deprecating joke. Like, he's acknowledging love can be messy, unpredictable, and having all these different experiences doesn't make you an expert or anything.
I agree. It adds some lightness to the song, you know? Reminding us that even with all the heartache and social stuff, there's room for some self-irony. And it shows maturity, too, I think. He's not bitter about past relationships. He's accepting the journey with humor.
I like that. It makes him feel like more than just a heartbroken singer, you know?
Yeah.
He's a complex person reflecting on his life with vulnerability and wit.
Exactly. That's what makes him relatable, I think. He's not trying to be this perfect romantic hero. He's owning his flaws and his past, and honestly, that makes his story even more interesting.
For sure. I'm curious to hear what he has to say next, especially how he seems to be getting through the tough times. And if that ties back to his earlier idea about faith being like medicine. But before we move on, what stands out to you from this first part of Feux Del Amo'ur?
For me, it's how Mpiana blends his own heartbreak with this powerful social commentary. He's not just singing about his pain, he's using his voice to highlight bigger issues. It makes the song resonate on a much deeper level.
Totally agree. It's a perfect example of how music can be both deeply personal and socially relevant. It makes you think, it makes you feel, and it challenges you to see the world differently.
Exactly, and that's what makes Feux Del Amo'ur such a timeless classic. It speaks to these universal truths about love and loss, while also giving us a glimpse into a specific time and place. It's a song that still connects with people decades later, and I bet we'll find even more layers as we keep going.
Well, let's keep exploring them. He seems to find comfort in his love for Amita Shatter, and he's actively trying to forget the bad memories.
Yeah, that's a fascinating turn in the song. Makes you wonder if focusing on erasing those memories is like a coping mechanism, a way to protect himself from the pain.
Maybe. He also mentions that both his love for Amita and his faith are like a refuge. think there's a connection there.
Ooh, good point. He's definitely drawing a parallel between those two sources of comfort. Makes me think he's looking for something bigger than himself to help him through these tough times. Something to hold on to in the midst of all the chaos.
That ties back to how he blended love and faith at the beginning, right? It's like he's saying that love, like faith, can give you strength and resilience even when things are hard.
Yes, and that idea of resilience is key here. He's not just wallowing in sadness. He's actively looking for ways to move forward, to find comfort and meaning. And that search seems rooted in both his personal relationships and his spiritual beliefs.
That's a powerful message, especially considering everything he's singing about.
Yeah.
Heartbreak, social injustice, wanting a better life. He's not giving up. He's finding ways to cope and keep going.
Exactly. And that message of resilience is something everyone can connect with, you know? Regardless of your background or experiences. It reminds us that even when things are tough, we can find strength within ourselves and in our beliefs and relationships.
I'm excited to see where this theme of resilience takes us as we dig deeper into Feux Del Amo'ur.
Yeah, it's interesting how he talks about that resilience. It's not just about, toughing it out. It's about choosing to focus on the good stuff, the things that keep him going.
Oh, for sure. He doesn't just erase the bad memories. He's like, I will never remember them again.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful, right? Like, he's taking control of his own story, deciding what to hold on to.
It is, and it connects back to that whole faith thing we talked about. He's drawing strength from his beliefs, using it to deal with all the emotional turmoil.
Like, he's found some hope in all the darkness. It makes you think about resilience differently, you know? It's not just about being tough, but also finding ways to heal and take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Recognizing it's okay to lean on something bigger than yourself, whether it's faith, love, or your community.
And speaking of love, he shifts gears again. Starts talking about how love affects everyone, no matter their age, race, or social status. He sings about how it affects adults, very old people, white, black, or albinos, well-off, poor, or very rich people. Like, he's reminding us that love is universal. It goes beyond all the lines we draw.
Exactly. And it's interesting how he puts this right after all his personal stuff and the social commentary. It's like he's saying, yeah, all that stuff exists, but at the end of the day, we're all connected by love.
That's a beautiful message. And he doesn't shy away from how complicated love can be either. Comparing it to wine, intoxicating and unpredictable. Do you think he's being romantic? Or more realistic, acknowledging that love can be both beautiful and dangerous?
I think it's both, honestly. He's acknowledging how intense love can be, how it can consume you. But he's not making it a fairy tale. He's honest about the risks, how it can lead to heartbreak, even the downfall of many.
Like he's saying, love is powerful, but it ain't easy. And that honesty makes his message even more relatable. We all know love can be messy and complicated, but it's also what connects us all.
Exactly. That's what makes this song so enduring, I think. It gets at those universal truths about love, but it doesn't ignore the hard parts. It's hopeful A&D, realistic, romantic A&D, grounded.
It's a beautiful mix of emotions and ideas. And then towards the end, there's those lines, Sala Kala Kala and Oyo Mosala Mpunda Mama. I know the Daateku channel video mentions them, but for our listeners who haven't seen it, what do those mean?
Those are interesting, yeah. They add another layer of cultural depth to the song. Sala Kala Kala is Lingala for it's done or it's finished, often used to express finality or acceptance. Oyo Mosala Mpunda Mama is a little harder to pin down, but it can be a warning or a reminder that some things are out of our control.
So they kind of tie back to the themes of resilience and acceptance we've been talking about. Like he's saying, we can't change everything, but we can choose how we react.
Exactly. And that's a powerful way to end the song, I think. It leaves you feeling both resolved and contemplative. Love can hurt, and life can throw you curveballs, but it's up to you to find meaning and keep going. We got this incredibly catchy Rhumba song that's also a social commentary, a reflection on love and loss, and even a philosophical exploration of the human condition. It's amazing how much he packs into Feux Del Amo'ur.
It speaks to the power of music to transcend boundaries and address universal themes.
Yeah.
This song is rooted in a specific time and place, but its message about love, longing, and the desire for a better life resonates with people everywhere.
It makes you realize that despite our differences, we all share certain fundamental human experiences.
And music can be a powerful tool for connecting us to those shared experiences.
It also makes me want to dig deeper into Congolese Rhumba. I'm hearing so much depth and complexity in just this one song.
It's a rich and vibrant genre, full of stories and social commentary.
Wow.
There's so much to explore. It's a beautiful and thought-provoking ending to a song that's been full of surprises. We've gone from heartbreak to social commentary to personal reflection and back to this universal idea of love. Feux Del Amo'ur has been quite the journey.
It has. Really highlights how music can transcend boundaries and connect with us on such a deep level.
I couldn't agree more. Before we wrap up, what do you think our listeners should pay attention to when they listen to Feux Del Amo'ur again?
I'd say listen to how the instruments change along with the themes. Like when he's singing about Amida, the music gets more tender, kind of melancholic. But when he's talking about the social stuff, there's this shift in energy. The rhythm gets more insistent, like it's driving home the urgency of what he's saying.
Oh, that's a good point. Adds another layer of depth and meaning.
It does. It reminds us that music isn't just words and melodies. It's all these elements working together to create something truly powerful.
I'm so glad we did this deep dive together. I feel like I understand Feux Del Amo'ur so much better now. And it's really made me appreciate the power of music to tell stories and bring us together.
Me too. It's been a fascinating journey. Well, we've covered the lyrics, the artist, the social context, but there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to examine. The music itself.
Yes.
We can't forget about the intoxicating rhythms and melodies that make this song so irresistible. That's what really brings the lyrics to life.
Exactly.
So when we come back for part 3, we'll delve into the musical elements of Feux Del Amo'ur and see how they contribute to the overall impact of the song. Okay, so we've spent the last 2 parts really getting deep into the lyrics and the themes of Feux Del Amo'ur. And it's clear this song has a lot to say, but let's not forget that it's also incredibly catchy.
That's the magic of Congolese rumba.
Yeah.
It can make you think and dance at the same time.
Right.
And in Feux Del Amo'ur, the music itself plays a huge role in conveying the song's message.
So for those of us less familiar with Congolese rumba, can you break down, like, what are we hearing musically? What makes this genre so distinct?
It's all about those layers of rhythm created by multiple guitars.
Okay.
You'll often have both electric and acoustic guitars creating this intricate interplay.
Interesting.
It's fast, it's complex, and it's incredibly energetic.
I can hear even without understanding the technical aspects, it just makes you want to move.
Right.
What else is going on instrumentally?
Well, the bass guitar is key.
Okay.
Providing that solid foundation for the groove.
Uh-huh.
Then you might have drums, percussion, even horns at times.
Right.
All weaving in and out, adding to the rhythmic tapestry.
I noticed a lot of call and response, too.
Yes.
Not just between the instruments, but also with the vocals.
That's a defining characteristic of Congolese rumba.
Okay.
The lead vocalist will sing a line, and then the instruments will respond with a musical phrase that echoes or complements the vocal melody.
It creates this dynamic conversation pulling you in.
It does.
So we've got these intricate rhythms, layers of guitars and percussion, and this call and response. That creates a sense of dialogue. How does this all connect back to the themes that we've been discussing?
Well, I think the music mirrors the complexity of the lyrics.
Okay.
The driving rhythms are joyous and uplifting, inviting you to dance. But there's also a sense of urgency, even tension, that reflects those anxieties about love, poverty, and social mobility.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just happy-go-lucky party music. It's got depth.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
And the call and response element underscores those moments of dialogue and debate. It's like the music itself is participating in the social commentary.
So it's not just about the lyrics themselves, it's how the music enhances those messages, adds to that emotional impact.
Exactly. It's all interwoven.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the music's energy and infectiousness makes the heavier themes easier to process.
Yeah.
You can dance your worries away even as you contemplate the deeper meaning.
It's like he's presenting these complex ideas in a way that's both thought-provoking and thoroughly enjoyable.
That's the genius of J.D. Mpiana.
Yeah.
He understands how to use music as a vehicle for social commentary without sacrificing the entertainment factor.
So we've gone deep into the lyrics, social context, the artist's background, and even dissected the musical elements that make this song so powerful.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for Feux Del Amo'ur.
And remember, music is subjective.
Right.
What resonates most with you in this song? What does it make you think about your own experiences with love and society?
Those are fantastic questions for everyone to ponder. And if you really want to experience the full force of Feux Del Amo'ur, I highly recommend seeking out some live performances, seeing the musicians in action, feeling that energy in a live setting. It takes the song to a whole other level.
Absolutely.
There's a reason this song became a massive hit and continues to resonate with people decades later.
Yeah.
It's a powerful blend of catchy melodies, meaningful lyrics and masterful musicianship.
It is.
It's a true testament to the power of music to spark conversations, challenge norms, and ultimately bring people together.
I agree. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Feux Del Amo'ur, what's one last thought you'd leave our listeners with?
Well, I'd say think about how relevant this song still is today. Decades later, we're still unpacking its meaning and feeling its impact. It speaks to those timeless human experiences, the joys and sorrows of love, the struggles of inequality, finding resilience when things are tough. Those are themes that resonate with everyone, no matter their background.
That's so true. It shows that even though this song came from a specific time and place, it speaks to something universal about being human.
Exactly. And that's what makes JB Mpiana such a great artist. He captured something deeply personal and made it relatable to everyone. I hope our listeners will enjoy the music, but also think about how Feux Del Amo'ur connects to their own experiences and their understanding of the world.
Beautifully said. It's been awesome diving deep into this Congolese Rhumba classic with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Until next time.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Feux Del Amo'ur, what's one last thought you'd leave our listeners with?
I'd say, think about how relevant this song still is. All these years later, we're still figuring it out and feeling its power. It speaks to those things that are always part of being human, right? The good and bad of love, dealing with inequality, finding strength when things are tough. Those are themes that connect with everyone, no matter who you are or where you're from.
That's so true. It really shows that even though this song is from a specific time and place, it says something universal about what it means to be human.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's what makes JB Mpiana so talented, I think. He took something deeply personal and made it relatable to everyone. I hope our listeners will not only enjoy the music, but also think about how Feux Del Amo'ur connects to their own lives and how they see the world.
That's beautifully said. It's been awesome exploring this Congolese Rhumba classic with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Until next time, keep those ears open and those minds curious.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Feux Del Amo'ur. We'll catch you next time.
yango na pona nanga amida ata na pasi tokofanda ye ata biketi tokolia ata Thomson tokotonda Yesu kutu mwana ya Nzambe babota ye na ndako ya mpata kasi mokili oyo ya tata na ye likolo na se ya bango kamwa ver o makambo isi mama Simon, le meilleur. Nakili libasa ya kolinga moto bakoma kotuno fana kawabie bayibiso tofandi na malweka nanya kolinga biso nyingi baboya bango sebungo mosika eleki bangungi baleki taxi kutwe boyaka libasa ya koloba wi bakoma kotuno tama kawabie bayibiso tobuka biki mwakala nani akolinga biso tika tokosata kokosa ngai nazali gradue ngai nazali licencié ngai nazali ingénieur po balinganga basusu libasa ya kolinga moto makoma kotuna de quelle famille es-tu ayibiso famille ezanga grife nani akolinga biso nzambe apungu bandela mokili oyo otunaka moko soki nani akolinga kobotama lisusu na famille ya pauvre ngai te nga obe na famille ya Adam Bombole le grand saoudien po bamelaka ti ntongo nyonso na miliki na mateka na suffisant pase na ngai eleki mabe yango na efase basouvenir nyonso ya mabe na bongo na nga mémoire na nga eyebi kaka kombo ya Amida Chatu nayende pelerinage epa na yo petolanga mama sukolanga mama salisanga na bikao nalinga mindele pe bayindo mikuse milai nalinga mikepe minene kasi chancelier wapi alatisanga palata ata ya bronze na ntolo soi-disant seul amoureux au ancien de sayo asalakala croix de guerre o mosala mpunda mama tonton fila simba motema bina malembe yola muluwe hey! lamulo ozali kaina oponaka mwana mokolo tokoko te mondele moyindu to ndundu te mozwi mobola to riche te mama lamulo ozali masanga mbila kolangwisinga na vino ya kolangwa ntango wana nzambe ya mpungwe ata balobi ekomi trota otamboli bongo lamulo ozali kaina ye oboma mingi ye okotisa mingi na se ya mabele mwaye ya kotanga bakomo na bango nyonso ikeleve nakokoka te nakolala te mpo na mawa maya miso ekotanganga nakolala te bolingo ezanga diplome ezanga palata miso nde elulaka etindi monoko eloba kasi nzoto nde ememaka ngambo kolinga suka wapi rife makengo babana yango batika yango jangandu kalokumu to penini liti ebonja basusukutu basonga nsima sami mikobi mingi kutu basenga labe kalokumu to penini mama base na biso Yaya na Daïda, ya Michel, Mishka Kabea, ya Zézé Zebra Force, GG Foula Mambo, Papa Lekimayo. Nous devons respecter le gars qui ont vécu. Adonis Lengalenga, Maître Mado, Gino. André Kimbuta femme d'affaires Nancy de Boélissé Mabanga Pamba Pamba Daateku Koko Kubange Serge Bokania Chicholembe Chocho Bokito Papi Chifwaka Bobolang Lema Lema Gustave Masela